Dear Dad, I believe that I need to sign up for track. I can run fast. I think I'm going to be in first place. I can make a friend. I will exercise. I think I will. I can sign up.
I decided to train him, and we did that in the off season. We did mostly plyometrics, working on his leg strength, his explosion, excuse me, um, his core, sit-ups, doing basic things as well, like push-ups, getting him to do 25 push-ups when he couldn't do that, doing frog leaps, bounds, lunges, single leg hops. I bought him a box so we would do box jumps, box drills. I bought him these little hurdles so we would do single leg drills, hops over that. We would just really kind of work on his explosive technique and utilizing his arms and working through that. And, that was something I mentioned because, ultimately I'm really kind of worried. Am I doing the right thing when we go into the season? I talked to him about this upcoming season because he found success last year, in his running as a 9U. I think he finished top 12 in the region in the 100 meters, which this is a tough region. We went AAU, although I don't know if AAU is as deep in the sprints as USA track and field, but at the top, AAU is really top heavy. So the top guys in AAU in his age group and almost all age groups are probably the best in the nation. But USA has a lot of depth in it. But fortunately for us, he was able to qualify for regionals at AAU. AAU national championships were in Houston last year. So, he wanted to build off of that season going into year 10 as a 9-year-old. So I wanted to help prepare him as best I could. That's, it was very stressful for me as a father because I wanted to make sure that he had everything he needed to kind of achieve the things that he wanted to achieve. And to be honest with you, I was concerned about his ability to, run under 14 seconds just because, the year before he ran 14:59 at the beginning of the season. And then from the beginning of the season to the middle of the season, his 14:5 actually went up and it didn't just decrease throughout the season. Until the end of the season, and then he was able to get back down to about a 14:6. He never really got below that 14:6, but he was running faster times and getting closer to that 14:5 time towards the end during the qualification period of the season, which again helped put him in a position to where, again, he finished top 15, top 12. So we wanted to build off of that, obviously, and I wanted to be a part of success for my son. Um, so I just did the best I could. We did that training, and I just hoped that he could get it done because that would be a big jump to run the times that he wanted to run. And I had my doubts, but I didn't want him to know that I had the doubts, and I also told him, and I wanted him to know that no matter what anybody thinks, no matter what anybody says, if God puts something into your heart, then it's something that you can achieve if you put in the work and you believe in it. You have belief in yourself, and that belief derives from work ethic and training consistently. So I wanted to always kind of showcase that type of attitude, even though in the back of my mind I'm like, oh, this is a big time job. And then you kind of compound that with the fact that when he runs with Track Houston, he's running against kids who have already run under 14 seconds as a 9U. And now we're going into the Katy Express meet, which is the first meet. He runs the 100, and then you can see typically in the season, the first heat is where all the fast kids, top kids run from each team. Typically you'll see that in heat 1 or two. Now we're going to see if that off-season workout paid off at all. If I did anything to help him kind of achieve those goals. So the pressure's on. And I'm a photographer, videographer. I shoot a lot for the club, so I'm on the team. I remember I reached out to Katy Express to see if they would give me credentials. They did. I'm out there on the field, so I'm able to get really close to see what's happening. I'm really trying to get pictures, but obviously here we go. Heat one, my son's running in it, and all the top kids are there. And man, it's nerve wracking because now, my wife's in the stands, my son's uncle and his aunt are there watching. So it's like all eyes are like gonna see what's going on. And I remember we used to do some workouts, and his grandparents would come home and they'll be like telling everybody in the family, like, he's training, he's doing this, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go, like showcase time. And we run the 100, the gun goes off. My son gets out like I've never seen him get out. That first 30, 40 meters, man, he is booking it. And he looks really, really good. And I'm like, man, I did a good damn job training him. Then 40 meters turns to 50 meters, one kid passed him, another kid passed him, another kid passed him. 60 meter turns to 70 meters. Now almost every kid has passed him. He's in seventh place, comes across the finish line. I think he finishes seventh or sixth in the race. He runs a 14.8, which is not his PR. It's not close to his PR. Other kids, the kid that won, ran like a 13.7, 13.8. And, I look at Cole and I want to kind of see where his head is at. And you can see, one, he's disappointed. And he can tell that the race didn't go the way that he wanted it to. So now I'm frustrated. And the first thing he asked me was, what was his time? Because now he's focused on that goal. What was his time? And I tell him his time, and you can just see the disappointment in his face. And I'm disappointed in myself at this point. So the season definitely did not start the way that we wanted it to start. It was tough. It was tough. In those moments, you have to kind of take a step back and realize that it's a long season, number one. Number two, it's not about what happens at the beginning, it's about what happens at the end. Then number three, I have to keep things in perspective, and I had to catch myself here and really kind of remember that, one, I have to keep my son balanced. I can't have him so focused on track that he thinks that this is his only path to success in life. I have to make sure that he understands that he has many paths, many opportunities to find success and to find his way. And I don't want him to ever feel like there's only one way for him, that he's trapped in some singular path of success or life travels. So I have to make sure I keep that in perspective. Number two, I think it's also important that you're able to overcome adversity. You're able to deal with challenges and not have this expectation that if you put work in, that it's going to automatically equate to success out. You have to still work for it. So what is he going to do, but also what am I going to do to build on this to go forward? And the first thing I have to do is have a positive attitude and communicate that with my son and help him kind of grow into that. And then, three, again, it's really important that, I keep him focused on all aspects of his life and the growth and progression in many different ways, and how that can equate to school and athletics to build upon. And what I'm trying to say is that you can't get so focused on this one outcome that didn't go the way that you wanted it to, but you have to look at all the other things that you're doing that there is success that is going to build you to be more successful as you go down the line. So I have to keep them balanced. I have to look at myself and keep myself balanced and realize that, and not get caught up into this emotional roller coaster that often goes on when you're dealing with youth athletics. Not having him focus on that exclusively. And you see a lot of kids do that. You see a lot of parents do that. They say these little sound bites that you hear them all say, not all, but many say, oh, my kid's got to win, or, oh, we in it to win it. You know, I want my kid to be in it to win it too, but at the same time, there's different battles that you face. There's different challenges that you must overcome, and people mature in a different time frame. So we have to find the little victories in life to build upon long-term strategies. And one of the things I had to reflect upon was the fact that, you know, like I said, I went to college. You know, I had scholarship in track, and I definitively remember that there were a lot of kids who were top-notch at 8, 9, were nowhere to be seen at 15, 14. And a lot of kids that were top-notch from 8 to 15 were nowhere to be seen when I was 18. And when I got to college, some of those kids that were top-notch in the state were nowhere to be seen when I got to college, and I was competing against Division I folks. So it is it's a lot of attrition that happens, but the only way that you can have success is to constantly progress and find those victories on that path to wherever it is you're going to go, to whatever type of success that you're going to achieve. So all that I'm thinking about as I am approaching him and seeing that disappointment in his face and how I'm going to talk to him. So the first thing I tell him is what, you know, you ran 14.8, but at this time last year, you ran about the same at the beginning, and it ended this way. So don't get too negative on yourself. Number two, you just competed against the best of the best that you're going to see all season long before the qualifiers. This was a growing experience for you, and the first 30, 40 meters, you got out like I never seen you get out ever in life. So there is progress there. And ultimately, we built a path of success for you long term. At the end of the season is where we want to get to. So if you really want to do this, you have to really believe in yourself, and you have to keep working at it. You have to keep pushing. Keep your eyes on the prize. And, you know, he was all about that. And I have to say that was a moment where I was like, man, I'm really proud of my son, because he's balanced. He understands that he's competing against everybody, but mostly competing against himself. And his goal and his focus wasn't on, okay, I got 7th. It was, okay, I didn't run my PR. What am I going to do to run my PR? And it's that type of focus, it's that type of understanding and maturity in him. When a lot of people see him as just a child, as a baby, I see that growth. So that is a victory that I have to acknowledge, recognize, and communicate to him. And together, you know, we build upon that.